Hey everybody, it's Sunday, October 22nd, 2023. Heading back to Universal Orlando for a little bit more Horror Nights. At this point, I think Horror Nights has been running for about 6 months straight. I'm not sure if it's ever gonna end. This will be Mary's 9th time at the event, my 10th time, although for the most part, after opening weekend, we kind of just came and dipped in and out. For the off nights, basically going to other haunts. So this is literally our first time checking out this Blumhouse photo experience. You can take some photos with backdrops from the Blumhouse movies. Come on, Exorcist happening here. Aha! Little behind the magic here. Onto the Megan photo op. Sometimes there's a Megan out here doing the pictures too. Oh, onto the black phone. Hold on a second. Domino's. This one is super cool. Oh, it's Five Nights. Very cool. And that's a wrap. This is really cool. So that was a cool little fun extra thing. The Bucks are all tied up with 45 seconds left to go, so we're gonna go into grilled cheese, catch a beer, watch the rest of the game. Inside NBC's grilled cheese sandwich, there's a substantial amount of beers on tap. And the Bucks just lost. And so we are back yet again. This may be the last time that we come unless we make it out for the very last night. I figure we'll go through, try Express, show you the difference between wait times of general and express time. There's been a rumor or two about the crowds being phenomenal here this year and everyone complaining, so I'll show you what the crowds are like and the wait times. And then we'll wrap up with final thoughts on the event altogether. Stay and Scream being directed up through Hollywood. It's currently 84 degrees at the tail end of October. Nothing like those fall feeling vibes. So half an hour before park closes, this is the line to get into Springfield Stay and Scream. It goes up through that walkway area and around. It's massive. About a week or so ago, there was a picture posted of CM Punk at HHN, and he was literally in that Stay and Scream instead of doing an RIP tour for some reason. So we've made it into New York Stay and Scream. Hardly a crowd here anymore because everyone's already corralled for the houses that they want to enter up above. It's rope drop at Finn's. Just a couple of minutes to go before the Stay and Scream opens for Stranger Things. This line goes on and on and on. And they've started to let some folks in. The line for Stranger Things and Exorcist is all the way back by Transformers. All right, so we're gonna do Dueling Dragons first. This is the line for Dueling Dragons, 5:24 p.m. All right, 5:27, we're out of the house. That was fast. Got to the Exorcist line 5 minutes ago. This time we used Express. However, the regular line said 5 minutes, but the Music Plaza was filled. And we're at it, 5:47. This is what the regular line is looking like. Onward to Stranger Things, 70-minute posted wait. And we're getting in this line at 5:52. Bear, 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 bear. All right, we got in the house at 6:05. We got out at 6:09. All right, 6:13. Yeti says 20 minutes. And so with it being 6:15 at this point, I believe the park is now open for regular guests. And the line is backed up considerably. Not sure what might be happening. 6:28. And the line has just stopped. The rumor is somebody fell in a house and hurt themselves. Cheers have erupted because the crowd is moving again. Yetis in your spaghetti. All right, so we got out of the house at 6:51, but the major problem was someone had fallen and injured themselves, and then we waited for a cash change. And so the bear was full on Thriller dancing back and forth when we chanted for him. That was amazing. All right, so now a little walk up Vamp 69. That girl is scared. right, Chucky says 45 minutes, 7:18. The standby line looks kind of long. Hopefully express problems are fixed. Express brings you right in here. Or we can sit down with the family, have some barbecue. We're watching Chucky while waiting for Chucky. It's a big head Chucky. 7:33, we're out of the house. So by the way, that house was the worst house on opening weekend. It's still the worst house. They have a big head Chucky in here now, which is delightful, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. So we just stopped to get a quick drink and a snack. And by the way, that cup of popcorn is $5. $5.19 to be exact. But I've been fiending for popcorn lately, so I'm all about it. All right, up and into Shityard 32. No sign of Patricia. Nosferatu guy. Oh my God, accounting tape is coming this way. Spooky accounting tape. Oh, it's a man in a box. The Peacock Bar is pretty empty. Who might this mysterious man be? I think I know who that man is.
How's it hanging?
It's hanging.
I'm David Pumpkins, and I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. Any questions?
So many.
What's my name?
David S. Pumpkins.
Now watch this. Any questions?
Where are you from?
Ibiza, man. Like
Nightmare fuel going on. So we're gonna head into Oddfellows. It's got a 35-minute wait. And so we're getting in line at 8:05, 8:06. Striking Acts of Distortion up next. By the way, this is my favorite house this year, or house of the year for me. But we'll do some full ratings at the end of the video. By the way, as we get ready to go in, you can see all of the Zodiac signs up around the facade here. I'm not sure if folks have pointed that out before. I forgot to look at what time we went into Oddfellow, but coming out, completely done. It's 8:22. We're gonna go in Darkest Steel now. It says 40 minutes, and it is 8:22. All right, it's 8:29, and we're going in. All right, we're out of there at 8:34. These guys took a while in front of us because the dad was terrified. All right, so we've got Last of Us, which is an 85-minute wait. So Last of Us is 85 minutes at 8:39. This has historically been the worst house this year for speed of express. And we're making our way through the world today. Look at this backup over here. All right, so 8:56. We're just about in the door. All right, well, we've got 2 houses to go. It's 9 o'clock at night. So Monsters Unmasked, 40 minutes at 9:12. All right, so at 9:17, we're going in. All right, head back towards the front of the park. Never don't go alone. Man is Bush.
The first step towards becoming the most powerful being in this universe and beyond.
They're still walkers. But there's the good doctor. Coming up on Mel's die-in. They never finish renovations throughout this run of Halloween Horror Nights. Their food is not necessarily good, but sometimes you need a not so necessarily good hamburger. The sounds of chainsaws beckon us. One last zone, or two last zones, one last house. Uh-oh, chainsaws and security. I was sucked into this store by this shirt. This is the ugliest shirt I've ever seen in my life. Oof. I bet you get a free bowl of soup with this shirt. Ram Man. I'm not quite sure what creature that is back there, but I love it. Kind of an alligator-y type face. There's no safe spot. Ram Man. This guy is taking a selfie when there is an awesome monster right there, but not in the picture. Cast change. We've got one last house, and it's Blood Moon. It's at 25 minutes right now at 9:44. All right, so 9:49. We're heading in. All right, so we did all of the houses and all of the zones by 9:58. Plus we stopped and had snacks, and we spent about 2 hours talking to friends. As we walk back towards the front, all of the actors are out here in the opening zone, including the good doctor. This monster is scared of Dr. Oddfellow. Good evening, Doctor. How are you this evening?
Wow.
Oh.
But I'm not selfish. Those willing to embrace fear will know great reward.
At least you got rid of that clown out of here.
But we have no history. We all have a purpose this evening. Let us all face immortality.
All right, Horror Nights. This is closing out the season. All right, so we're back home. We're going to try to keep this short because I think we already shot like 15 minutes plus of footage while we're at the park. But we want to give a wrap up for the end of the year. A couple of people messaged us and said, you know, what are your thoughts overall? And I figured we'd give you our thoughts overall. Overall, I think was a solid year of Horror Nights. Yeah. I think it was probably the best year for houses at Horror Nights since probably HHN 25. To me, HHN 25 was the top of the mountain, right? For both zones and houses and shows. You know, I think the houses overall were super strong. And this is not, you know, because I think like we now live in an age in social media where everybody's like, you can't say anything critical about things, but it is what it is. And it's not one thing specific to the performance that gets put into things. I think a lot of it comes down to ideas, throughput, etc. But I think the houses were really strong. I think the original houses were significantly stronger than the IP IPs, houses.
Definitely.
And I think the zones this year, the zones didn't really have the same oomph that I think we've had in prior years. One thing that was really lacking, I think, in the zones is like lack of mini shows. Like last year we had the witch show that was taking place.
Actually good.
You know, prior years we've had like the icons in the New York street
the
or Hollywood
overall
street
scare factor was not there at all.
They even in like the 1985 Vamp Zone had like more of a mini show that would take place on stage, and this year with the Vamp 69, like every so often somebody would go on stage and do something, but it wasn't necessarily like a show. I mean, when Chance had her thing, then she did her own little show and stuff too, and I get it. Like Oddfellow did his thing, and it was better than the Orange Grinch what they pushed out last year. Although I think that the performance by Orange Grinch and you know, the Pumpkin Lord was great. As far as shows, I think that the zones are just kind of becoming a thing where they want you to just walk through, admire, and keep on moving.
Yeah, there's no scares. The only place that anybody was scaring at any point was the Vamp 69 that I saw.
69 and the chainsaws, in fairness.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, the chainsaws were good.
But I think that some of the stuff that, you know, idea-wise for the zones, you know, I can't even remember, like the Jungle of Doom, I think, is the zone. I consider it like the plant zone, because it's basically plant guys. Fun costumes. The costumes look cool in some cases, but I think that the costumes were probably inhibitive of allowing the people to do a lot of scaring and getting into people's faces. That's a really tight zone. And then you get to something like Shipyard where it's all like leftover stuff. And I know people were in love with Patricia this year, but that character has been around for at least 2 or 3 other Halloween Horror Nights. It literally was there just like 2 years ago. So I think people just kind of grasp now and try to like make something of something. But in any event, the zones were fun. In years past, I spent a lot of time in the zones taking pictures and videos, and there was so much like fun with watching people getting scared and running away. And we really didn't get that. We really didn't get that this year. But with the houses, this is my list, and I think Mary has a couple of adjustments. And I'm cheating because I wrote it down. I'd say that my favorite house of the year was Oddfellow. And the second favorite house was Blood Moon. And I think Blood Moon was Mary's favorite house.
Blood Moon was my favorite, and Oddfellow was second.
Okay. My third favorite house was Darkest Deal. And the fourth favorite house was Yeti. And then I had Monsters, the Universal Monsters.
And see, I had Yeti, Exorcist, and then Monsters.
Okay. And then I have Exorcist next on my list. And then Stranger Things, The Last of Us, Dueling Dragons, and Chucky. And
yeah, that's pretty much the rest of my list.
I will say, you know, when it comes to the IPs, like I think The Exorcist was really well done. We still didn't see the movie. But the scares were really good, at least the first couple of weeks that we went through, and then we went through the other night, and there was just stuff missing everything.
Yeah, we missed all the scares. And
Stranger Things was the house that I was looking forward to the most this year, and I was really happy to see Stranger Things as a house, but it kind of fell into the trap that they did with Michael Myers year after year, where it was like, you know, there has to be at least 10 or 15 Vecnas in that house.
All different sizes.
Yeah, but, you know, they had such an opportunity because Stranger Things season 4 was so long and had so many characters and story points. You had the whole Russia subplot and things too, and all of that stuff was just not there. And a lot of that stuff is in the house in Hollywood, so it could be done. And then I go back to Halloween Horror Nights a couple of years ago when they did American Horror Story, and they called it like a super house where it was like a double length for walkthrough. You could have done that with Stranger Things, and I just kind of feel like Stranger Things is such a hot property. You kind of really like blew it by just doing the house the way that it was done. I mean, and the end piece altogether, it goes without saying. Like, I know, you know, Eddie not playing the guitar at the end for Master of Puppets while it's playing is a gigantic swing and a miss. It couldn't be any bigger of a swing and a miss for me. And my understanding is it's because of licensing rights where it costs more for somebody to be miming or playing the song than it would be for somebody to be standing there.
Yeah.
And that was a big miss. So that's the list of what we thought of with the houses. You know, the original stuff and the creative minds at Universal is second to none.
Crazy.
I love
Blood
going through all
Moon
of those
was
houses.
just insane.
I just love it. The other standouts for the year, the actors that played Oddfellow and the interactions in that front section of the park.
On point.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, you could ask them stuff, and everything's in character, right? Like, we asked them about Jack the Clown, and he refers back to Jack and his story, and it stays in line with what the story is.
Yeah, it's great.
And I thought that was fantastic.
And all the characters throughout the 4 zones.
Yeah, I think that was really well intended.
Yeah.
You know, and you have Oddfellow in each of the zones, right? But I think that it was a really well-intended thought to have, like, Oddfellow through all of the zones. I'm not sure, like, the plant people and stuff, how well that factored into things. And,
I don't know. And plus, it would have been great if we all knew what was going on.
Yeah, a little more subtext or something.
I had no idea when we first went the first weekend, and other people were like, oh, you got to watch the podcast. You got to do this. And I'm like, why can't we have that at the park? Like,
yeah, I don't want to have to, like, put any extra effort, right? Like, you want to know what's going on. And that's what I think the benefit of the houses were this year, right? Because you go into, like, Darkest Deal, and it tells the story from beginning to end, and it's so well done.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you get the full story along the way, and it could have done that with the zones and everything, too, especially with having Oddfellow at that front zone. Could have really kind of set the story for the rest of things. But the other standouts, David S. Pumpkins.
David S. Pumpkins.
I was really looking forward to him before the event, and the event, like,
he did not disappoint.
He never broke character, and I never saw anyone on social media saying that he broke character for anyone. So that guy's out there for hours at a time every day, literally stays in character with the lines from the TV shows or the skits. Amazing. I loved it. That guy should win like Scare Actor of the Year. So I love that. I also love the Megans.
Oh, the
little
Megans
pop-up
are
thing.
amazing.
The casting for the Megans, the choreography for them, and the stone face look on them, it was perfect. If you could catch it, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And then the addition with having the Death Eaters in Diagon Alley.
Death Eaters were so great.
Yeah, those little things. I mean, I would take just Oddfellow, David Pumpkins, the Megans, and the Death Eaters and say, like, those were the 4 best zones.
Standout. Yeah, I know, the standouts from the whole entire, like, outside area.
Yeah, it was, that stuff was fantastic. The show, the Nightmare Fuel show was okay.
I like it. If you
the dancing is really cool.
Yeah,
and the magic is
very
cool.
Very talented people. It's good to watch once the whole season, and I'm good to go.
They, you know, we're never going to see another Bill and Ted, and we even lose out with Fiends over in Busch Gardens.
Yeah,
and I think like one of those, the mix of like having some type of comedy, hot people dancing and stuff like that is missed. Right? Like, and that's my opinion. So the food was hit and miss, was here and there for certain things.
I only had a couple of things. And yeah, I mean, the snowball was good.
I'm kind of glad, for the last couple of years, I kind of poke fun at the fact that HHN was becoming like a food festival type of thing. And this year, I really feel like the focus was less on the food festival. I think they should bring back the Scare Actor Dining.
Yeah.
In some capacity, because that was a real win every year, even though the food was pretty awful. The interactions with the actors
what made
was
it,
always great. What else can we say? It's another year down. It's another thing. Oh, you know what? The big thing that I didn't make my crib notes about was the crowd situation. So everyone's saying like the crowds were awful. The crowds are awful, and we hate the teenagers. We hate the drunk people. We hate this. We hate that. We hate the babies. Everybody has something to say about everything, but no one's focused on just going to the event and enjoying themselves. And I think you can see from this video that the express stuff pays off. And just like we said prior to the event, you're going to get people on social media all the time that say, like, I did 83 houses in 2 hours and I was done. And I did the show 5 times and I ate 16 hamburgers. And, that's great if people want to rush around. This is not a one-night event at this point anymore. It's definitely a multi-night event to be able to enjoy yourself. But the crowds, I didn't think that they were any worse than what they have been for the last few years. And we've taken like pictures and videos in the past where things were packed. And the earlier part of this video, when we shot when we were in Park, that was UCF night also. And we've been to UCF night before when it's packed. It's like a general admission concert, the entire park, like walking around. And I didn't get that feel this year.
On Sunday, no, we went.
That was the UCF night.
Yeah, on Sunday. It was wonderful. I mean, it was, you can walk and not get bumped into by people. And it was just, and a beautiful night out too.
Yeah. So I think the crowds are here to stay. The more attractions that they have open and the more things that they have open, like if they open, hey, we're going to do this attraction Diagon Alley, or we're going to have this other thing, open. The more that they do that, it allows them more capacity for more people to come in the park, because the capacity is ratio to attractions that they have. Yeah. And for everyone saying it's going to they should do 2 parks and everything else, I don't see this ever still going back to Islands of Adventure. But I think, the crowds are what they are. If you buy a multi-night ticket, if they still offer multi-night tickets next year, because I think you saw through this season, they stopped selling them at some point, and they make it like if they allow the multi-night tickets, it's more than beneficial to show up one night, do 50% of the stuff, pace yourself, go back and do it, the rest of the other night and stuff. Otherwise, you're really racing and you're feeling pressured to have to finish everything, regardless of express or no express, because the new express is really the RIP tours. And this year, they way oversold even the RIP tours, because like everybody is buying the RIP tours. And so much so that they have like the meeting place in one area, and then the food place in one area, and the meeting place in another area. And the groups are just all over. And I know that from speaking with people that are doing the tours, like there's more tours now than there ever have been before too. And some of the reactions from the folks that I know that went on the tours felt like they were really rushed and didn't get to do a bunch of the things. So,
yeah, I heard that too.
And then the next super express would be the private RIP tours, which is stupid expensive.
Stupid.
But, as far as crowds, I think it is what it is. There's alternatives. We've done a ton of alternatives with independent haunts, or even SeaWorld, or Busch Gardens, or Sir Henry's, or Petrified Forest, or Fear Park. Like, there's a ton of things to do out in Central Florida for Halloween now. We're at a renaissance period for Halloween. Yeah. And anyway, we've got one more week to go. We're done with Horror Nights unless we go back the last night and don't film anything. But for the most part, for us next is Netherworld and potentially Paranoia in Georgia. And then it's Halloween and we're done. And I'm not racing around to do Christmas stuff, because it's the same old at all of these theme parks for everything. So
we'll be there at some point, but So
that's our opinions. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Thanks a lot for watching. Thank you for coming along. Thank you very much for all of your likes, comments, and subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. Watch the camera can follow me. Any which way that I go.
Kind of weird.
Subscribe to the cheap seats. Otherwise, he'll be looking in your dreams for you.